When you ministry, you need to have personalities that are in tune and in touch with Jesus. He done made that Jesus is trying to invite the children and welcome the children to come to them, forbid them not, for such is the kingdom of heaven. And then those followers of Jesus who's supposed to be acting like Jesus, he's supposed to have the character of Jesus, are doing something opposite that Jesus wants them to do. You cannot teach what God wants you to teach if you're not in tune and in touch with God. It's just like Jesus hiring folk and they're fighting the same program that Jesus is about. He's trying to get the children to come to them, and the disciples are trying to keep the children away from him. Now, who actually ought to be running things? The disciples or Jesus? Isn't it amazing that you have folk in ministry who are just not about what God is really all about? And if you're not about what God is about, nobody need to ask you for your resignation. You ought to automatically resign. Because you ought to be about what God is really all about. He touched them, and the reason symbolically touched them, because he wanted to let them know that I've got the blessing for the future of your life. If there's any place you ought to want to get your children, it's all right for them to go to school. It's all right for them to go to college. It's all right for them to go to technical school. But you ought to make sure that if you don't get your children nowhere else, you ought to make sure that you get them to Jesus. Education is all right, but education can't do for them what Jesus can. Education cannot help you in a time of trouble, but it has to be a heart issue. In other words, God has to control your heart. That it's not about what the children do, it's what your responsibility is to do. Don't come telling me didn't but one show up so I went on and canceled it. No, if you got the heart of God, teach the one. It's not a children's issue, it's a heart issue that deals with your love for God. Now, if you're going to love children, you have to understand, you didn't put that in your heart, God did. No, I didn't have the heart for preaching. Preaching wasn't what I went to school for. It was not my major. God placed that in my heart. And until it became a heart issue, I didn't want to do it. I rebelled against doing what God wanted me to do. But once Jesus came into my heart, it's all I want to do. It's the heart that makes a transformation. Out of the heart flow the issues of life. And you can't do it like you need to do it unless God places it in your heart. Second thing is you need the compassion of God. You need the compassion. You have to have compassion. You have to have compassion. You have to understand that all the children, many times, if we're really doing it like we're supposed to do it, the children ministry is not April, and it's not just a single ministry, but it's with God. Not only do you have to have compassion and have to have a heart and patience, but the next thing is you have to have love. Love is the greatest thing that you can teach them. I never shall forget, out of seminary and everything else, the greatest personality that ever touched my life was a woman that did not get a 6th grade education. Her name was Miss Darby. I used to wonder why in the world did they have us teaching? And they had us teaching the intermediates, because she really didn't know nothing. But 3 things about Miss Darby you could count on. She didn't know nothing. She wasn't a great educator. She wasn't a great biblical scholar. She couldn't articulate in the English language very well. She was not up on her business in subject and verb agreement. But one thing that you know, Sister Darby was going to love you. And that means more to me than anything else in this world. That I knew beyond anything else, I was going to get some love. The second thing, the next thing is Miss Darby was going to always take up for me. Yeah. She was my protector. If anybody wanted to do me something for what I did, she would always stand in my stead. Wasn't a great teacher, wasn't a great orator, didn't know subject verb grade, did not know all the Bible from front to the back, but I knew I was going to get love and she was going to protect me. And the next thing that I knew that I was going to always get from her, she was always going to encourage me. It didn't matter what happened or what, she was always, if I made a mistake, she was going to encourage me to make sure that I wouldn't quit, I would still give it another try. He got a little game, he come in there and started a little conversation, using his game, And I said, okay. He said, well, can I have some of this? I say, some of what? Here's some of this candy. I said, did you come in here to see me or you came to get some candy? He said, I came to see you and to get some candy. I said, yeah, his daddy teaching him well. Yeah, he get it from his dad. But dealing with children, whatever way, many times children, you have to show children a little affection. You have to show them some love. You have to hug them and let them know that you really are about them and they will love you larger than life. She had a profound on me. Got drowned by the wonderful act of God. Teach them the wonderful acts and the great things that God has done. He has done great things. Not regular. Teach him he has done great things. He has done great things for me. And share with them the great thing they do. Do me a favor. Do me a favor. Get yourself out the way. And you get rid of your credit so God can get it. Let them know it's great things that God is providing for me. And because I have a great God that provides for me, then your parents are able to provide for you. It's God doing this thing. Great things. All things come of thee, O Lord, and if you have what you have because of the great provision of God. Teach them the great things that God is doing. Let me move on because we kind of tired this morning. Next thing is, it's called Yoda. Yoda means the works and the character of thanksgiving. Teach them not only who he is, but teach them also what he can do. The works and the character of God. Who God is, tell them God is love. Most times children are scared of God. They think, the only way they know God talking is when it's thunder and lightning. And we holler in the room, God is talking, get down, sit down somewhere. That's not, they come feel for that and somebody say God want to talk to you, they get scared. Because they